Hello everyone, I'm Onion Yabor and this is Pro-Lit-Fic, and my work is to help people attain higher consciousness through activity. And the topic for today's video is comfort, the enemy of progress. Now, today I want to start with a story about a time when I was living in Portland, right? Now, if you've ever been out to the Northwest, you know that it's very green and it rains a lot there. And so as a result of that, there's a lot of really beautiful forests, and they have these beautiful evergreens, and there's just like a lot of really green plant life all around, right? Now, while I was living there one day, I'll never forget, there was one day I pulled up to a gas station, and I forget, like, it was a little cloudy, but it was a mostly sunny day, and I pulled up to a gas station to get my gas pumped. Now, in Oregon, at the time, they had attendants who came and pumped your gas for you. So I was just sitting in the car waiting for the attendant to come to my car and pump the gas. And now, while I was waiting, a really vicious rain spell came in, and it started raining like crazy. And so there was a ton of rain, and while I was looking, there on the side of the gas station where I was this little thin young sapling tree. And while it was raining and coming down super hard, I remember seeing that sapling getting pushed by the wind, and it looked like I thought it was going to break because the wind was coming in so hard and so fast out of nowhere. And it was raining, and it was coming down really, really hard. And it flashed like this for about 3 or 4 minutes, right? And the attendant was away inside, and I thought, oh man, are they going to come inside and pump my gas? But I was just looking at the sapling the whole time, and then eventually the spell of rain stopped or whatever. They came, they pumped my gas, and it was no big deal. And then I saw the sapling come back to normal, and it was just fine. Now, while I was driving back home, I had the strangest thought about how that sapling looked like it was about to break under the pressure of the wind and all this, rain water that was coming in on it. And I always thought to myself how water and sunlight is what makes a tree grow. And that wind pushing it over would have broken it in half, but it actually is what's going to make this tree strong. And I thought to myself, isn't it interesting that what seems to threaten the very existence of that sapling is actually what's going to help it move forward into the future? And that's the thought I want to have and share with you guys today. I think one of the most pervasive lies that's told in the West is this idea of pain being associated with something bad or evil. The idea that if something is painful, or if there are negative emotions associated with it, that somehow this negativity is the result or an indicator of something that is not worthy of our time, or is bad or evil, or something to be avoided. And I think this mindset is what actually holds a lot of people back, because there's not an understanding that pain is actually a good thing, even though it is painful. And all you have to do is ask yourself, someone who doesn't and can't feel pain receptors, right? There's a lot of stories out there when people can't feel pain, the amount of injuries they sustain, and how it's very, very difficult to live when you can't feel pain, because you might get hurt, you might bump something, you might have an injury, and you'll just die from it and be hurt because you can't feel pain. So actually, pain protects us in a lot of ways, and it also helps guide us and let us know what's really worthwhile. And because of our relationship with pain, you will see that that is going to be related to the level of consciousness and achievement we obtain in this life, is our relationship with pain. And that is something that I don't think a lot of people think about, and something that I want you guys to think about today as we move forward. Now, before I continue, if you like what you're hearing, please take a second to like the video and hit the subscribe button. It only takes a second, and it makes a massive difference in helping the channel grow. As well, if you see anything in here that you think someone else might benefit from, don't hesitate to share it with them. It's word of mouth referrals like this that help spread the message and help the channel grow, so that more people like yourself can find the good word. And anyway, on to the next point, which is essentially that, guys, if we want to grow and build into higher consciousness, like this tree, right? It goes from a young sapling and it'll grow into a large tree that sits there for a long time. The trunk will get nice and strong, and then eventually it'll come to bear fruit, perhaps. The only way that happens, though, is from enduring those spells of rain and from letting the stress of the environment build adaptation in you. It's from letting it transform you. And so oftentimes when we have a dream or a goal that we want to obtain, and as we move towards that, we feel that pain, we somehow feel that that pain or the trial that comes from that is an indicator of things not going correctly, when in fact it's those obstacles or those trials that are refining you into the person who can be worthy of that goal or dream or what have you. And a lot of that is developing a relationship with pain that is not one based on avoidance, like we see so many people do. So many people are trying to avoid pain. Literally, I think the number one worst trait a human being can have is someone whose very life purpose is avoiding pain. I've never seen or met a person who I really respected where their relationship with pain was one of avoidance and constantly running from. I've never seen it. And there's whole cultures, whole lifestyles that are built around this, and this is why so many people fall and falter. The idea of having stress in a lot of these people is an indicator that something is wrong, and then they use a lot of these sort of background or behind the back methods to take care of that pain rather than using that pain as a catalyst for growth and as for change, because that's what human beings have done for millennia. That's how we got as far as we did, that austerity. But because in the 20th century there was so much evolution, I think what happened is people started to see comfort as this sort of like ideal upon which humanity was shooting for, and that when it was obtained, it's something to be maintained. But the reality is that there's no such thing as maintenance. You're either growing or you're degenerating. And if you're not growing, then that automatically you're falling back. And the problem is you have whole generations of people where they might have pioneers and people who grew and built that up. I actually can speak from experience. I grew up in Utah for a little bit, and when I was living there, one thing I noticed was there's a certain culture of people, there's these Mormons that came in, and they have these really tough pioneers that had come in, but a lot of the generation afterwards, the people that I'd lived around, I realized that they were not very inoculated to pain or uncomfortable circumstance whatsoever. And as a result of that, you just saw this major slide back in the generations, and a lot of these kids with their mental health issues, a lot of them in their relationships, with their purposes in life, and a lot of them were just really struggling. And it was this major slide back into trial and tribulation because of this inability to integrate and recognize pain as an indicator for growth rather than something that needed to be avoided. And that was like one of the biggest mindsets I saw. And as I changed and lived in other places, I saw that people who really learned how to deal with that pain and grow a relationship with it, well, those were the people who were succeeding, and those were the people who actually were happiest, right? So comfort is the enemy to your progress. So whatever level of creative endeavor you're going about, whether it's just you want to become an artist, or you want to become a musician, or you want to write, or say that you want to even just build a better life for yourself, like get a family, get a girlfriend, whatever. The idea is that pain is going to be part of this process. That's going to be part of the feedback mechanism that allows you to adapt and allows you to grow. If we are struggling to integrate that pain into our vision for our life and we don't account for it, we're going to have a very difficult time. Actually, it's going to be impossible to come to the conclusions we need to, because pain is an integral part of it. And it can't be said enough that pain is just a part of life. But pain isn't a bad thing, so we have to remove this idea from our head that pain is bad. Now, of course, there's unnecessary pain, right? Just because not all pain is good pain, right? There's the pain of breaking your arm, and then there's the pain of working out so hard that your muscles are going to grow. These aren't the same thing. So it's understanding like what kind of pain is which and really building a relationship with that. And that's where I want to talk about austerity and how we apply austerity into our life, which is the last point. And it's really just making a plan where you are deciding whether it's little things like waking up early in the morning and taking a cold shower, or working out, or doing just something uncomfortable once a day to help you build a relationship with pain, so that you can learn when pain is trying to teach you to avoid something versus pain is trying to teach you that this is an opportunity to grow. And as you build your relationship with pain, the sky's the limit, because from that it'll teach you the opportunities for progress in your life. Now, before I end the video, I just want to say thanks for your time. And if there any of you are out there in need of help or guidance for unlocking greater creativity, why don't you book a time with me in the link down below. I have a growing wait list of clients, and I love to connect with people and see how I can better assist you towards your goals. As well as, if you found anything helpful, please like and subscribe, as well as please share the video. As I said earlier, it makes a massive difference and helps everyone spread the message of higher consciousness through creativity. Now, I just want to say thank you so much once again. Stay happy, stay healthy, and remember, stay creative. Peace.